CityCast Pittsburgh is supported today by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Pittsburghers love this place, and I've actually never been, so it's definitely on my list to check out. There's history, there's artifacts like Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket, handwritten lyrics from the Beatles, Taylor Swift's piano, and right now they've also got a new exhibit on Saturday Night Live and their many talented musical guests. So you can see stuff from their skits and performances, and apparently it's the only place you can see SNL's entire performance archive. Check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to learn more about the music that connects us all. For more information, go to rockhall.com/exhibitions/SNL-50-years-music.
Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, when I am going to a Pirates game, I'm rooting for Jalapeno Hannah because, frankly, I don't expect the Pirates to win. After all, it's been 45 years since we fielded a team that could make it past a single playoff series. And there's a growing group of fans who think one person is to blame. You've seen the billboards, maybe heard chants at a game. Pittsburghers want Bob Nutting to sell the team. We're bringing back a conversation from the start of the season, where host Megan Harris talks with some fans who explain why they're so fed up with Bob and what needs to change to bring us back to our former glory. It's Monday, August 11th. I'm Sophia Lowe, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about.
Hi, CityCast listeners. This is Hey Pittsburgh newsletter editor Francesca DeBecco. Before we get into today's conversation, I have a favor to ask. CityCast is doing our annual listener survey, and it would really help us out if you took it. The survey helps us understand who our audience is and how to best serve you. Please go to citycast.fm/survey. It's only 7 minutes long. We timed it. That's citycast.fm/survey. Also, when you take it, you'll be eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card and some CityCast Pittsburgh swag. So again, that's citycast.fm/survey.
I am with a couple of local troublemakers and Pirates fans, Gabe Mazefsky. Hi, Gabe.
Hello.
And Marc Datz. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Megan.
So, boys, I know you are baseball people. Were you always Pirates fans?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs when you grow up in Pittsburgh and your first love is the fucking Pirates. Brutal.
Gabe's coming in hot. Let's talk about that. How often have y'all felt some degree of hope in your lifetimes around the Pirates and their chances, say this time of the year, just when the season gets rolling?
Well, if you look at the history, Megan, they've been around since the 1880s, and they have a wonderful history.
They've got a long and storied history and many championships during that time.
5 championships. And, when Gabe and I were kids, the 70s, the Pirates were good every year. They had Hall of Fame players.
We are family.
Yes, love it, love it.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
Love it. Yeah, Sister Sledge. And then at a certain point in time, the economics of baseball changed. And I think PNC Park being constructed in 2001 gave us some hope. But the ownership of the team just doesn't care about winning. They care about profit. So it's been a downward spiral.
What is it about that movement towards profit? Like, as you explain it to people, and especially for non-sports people, why is the owner of a team so important? Why is Bob Nutting the bad guy?
Because this is a public asset. The Pirates, PNC Park, which was paid for 80% by state, county taxpayers. So what we talk about frequently is stewardship. When we talk about an owner of a business, sure, in the private sector, that doesn't come with strings attached, but this is a very different asset in business.
For a lot of people, like their attitude, the way they position themselves in the world, it really does shift in Pittsburgh depending on how our sports teams are doing.
No doubt. They're a part of the civic infrastructure of the city. The park system, the symphony. They're a part of the zeitgeist of who we think of ourselves, and it affects the mood of the city. If you look at all the sports, the Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins, say Pitt football, Pitt basketball, the Pirates have more days where there are games than all the others combined. So when you have a winning baseball team, it elevates the mood of the city. It brings attention to the city. Greater attendance means greater revenues, hotels, bars, restaurants. It floats all boats. So like Gabe said, it's not a widget company where you're just trying to make a profit. It's civic stewardship, and owning a sports team is about all of those holistic ideals.
And I guess to break it down for folks, like what you're saying is that the ownership we currently have does not care about whether we win. That's what you contend?
Yeah, Bob Nutting would be okay if they won. I'm sure he'd rather win than lose, but he's not willing to risk anything. He's not willing to invest in a product. He's sort of like a restaurant owner that says, if more customers come, we'll have better food and better service and we'll get new carpeting. But it's not on the customers. It's on the owner to create a product that creates excitement. That's what other owners do, including in small markets. So our contention is that if he doesn't want to do that, or if he's undercapitalized to do that, he should sell the team. He would probably get $1.5 billion if he sold the team right now. He bought it for.
Are we worth that much? Is that just because of like the real estate and the marketing, like the brand, all of that?
Yeah, Major League Baseball. As an example, Megan, the Boston Celtics just sold for $6.3 billion. So sports is big business.
Although they're a basketball team that are doing very well right now, as opposed to the Pirates, which are not.
They are, but Major League Baseball is a brand. He could cash out big time, and there would be other potential owners that would really care about the team and care about winning.
Yeah, and Megan, apples to apples, like a Baltimore, which has had almost as bad of this past generation history, just sold, I guess, 2 years ago now. I believe it was over $1.5 billion. So we kind of use that valuation. Maybe it's 1.3. It's somewhere in that window.
Well, and it's an interesting proposition, too. Like, what are the Pirates actually worth? Because all of the data that we get, the public, about how they're doing, their bottom line, is all self-reported. So the Pirates get to tell us how they're doing. What would y'all like to see be different? Because, we see stories about how the PNC Park is one of the most beautiful in the nation. I think it was recently ranked 3rd. They are always talking about like new amenities and like food and snacks, which folks on my team get very excited about. What do y'all want to see changed?
We can go on field performance, 24 years, 4 winning seasons. I think I asked you this, Megan, but it's just a fun little piece of trivia. Marc knows the answer, but the last time the Pirates won a playoff series, when was that? And the answer is 1979. We won the World Series against Baltimore. I'm 46. I was 1 year old. Generations now of Pirate fans, of Pittsburghers, have not seen the Pirates win a playoff series. Nonetheless, we made a huge investment. We took a lot of risk in that last lease when we built an absolute gem of a park. It's at the top or top 2, 3 of every list you'll ever see. And what do we get for it? Certainly, none of our expectations were met. And the fun part, or the relevant part maybe, that lease is up in 6 years. And now is a time, for instance, in Milwaukee, they opened their baseball park the same year as PNC Park. They just received over $500 million from the state and county there to refurbish their baseball stadium. Well, guess what? We know that conversation's occurring behind closed doors now. We intend to be a part of that conversation. We're not going to go in with hope. And now that we have 24 years of failure, utter failure, the next sitting mayor is going to make the decision about what we're going to do and how we're going to approach this negotiation. Are we prepared to spend hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars having, we took a risk. It was an utter failure in many ways. And now we have an opportunity. And that's the beautiful thing. If we have an opportunity to fix that, and we demand that it be fixed.
Yeah. Marc, what about you from your perspective? Like, what do you think What sucks? Like, we've got this beautiful space. Is it just a matter of winning? Should we, like, what investments need to be made?
So 40% of Major League Baseball teams make the playoffs. You don't have to spend like the Yankees or the Dodgers. If you spend 120, 130, 140 million each year, you can put a good team on the field. But Nutting is repeatedly spending in the 80s, 90s, below 100 million when he could easily afford it. So that's really the difference. We want an owner that will come in and spend to those levels, not what the Yankees do, but what other similar markets do. We'd also like an owner that would fight for a salary cap. Every other major sport, basketball, hockey, and football, has a salary cap, a salary floor, and revenue sharing. So as an example, Megan, in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers, which are in small towns like ours, they have the best teams. They have the most high-profile players. They have the Patrick Mahomes and those types of superstars.
I think our audience is more the Travis Kelce bent, but yeah, keep going.
or Travis. But so we want an owner that will spend to the level of other similar markets, that will really fight for a salary cap, and Bob Nutting is not and will not.
And what would that money go towards? Say he spends 60, 70 million more. Does that go towards player salaries? Does that bring in like people to be in charge of the team?
Payroll should be $30 to $50 million more. So as an example, this offseason, they were okay last year, about a 500 team. They have a good pitching staff. They have a young pitcher named Paul Skeens that might be one of the best pitchers of all time. He's fantastic. So instead of building around this decent team with a good pitching staff in this offseason, they signed a bunch of over-the-hill bums that were cheap on one-year contracts. There were players available that they could afford that would give them a chance to win. In addition, get a real manager. Derek Shelton is cheap. He probably wouldn't get another job elsewhere. He hasn't performed. There was a guy named Terry Francona that's from this area that was available, who's won a World Series and who's highly respected. And he went to the Reds instead of coming to the Pirates because Bob Nutting doesn't want to pay for a top manager. So in every aspect of the organization, from player procurement, the manager, the general manager, he is going to spend less than others. He will never deficit spend. He will never invest in the product. And the results are what you see.
Well, and we talked to another member of y'all's crew, Canyon Swartz. He and his twin brother, Carter, got involved in all this after protesting, mostly alone, last year, kind of at the last minute, on the steps of the city-county building. It was a whole kerfuffle. There were a lot of photos. Canyon could not be here today because he is still in school, but this is what he said.
We've always known that Bob Nutting's a horrible owner, and we always knew could be run a lot differently. Just kind of ran on hope that things could get better, like in 2013 through 2015. Kind of just hope the second that we have a good base core of a team that ownership would support it and it would actually lead us somewhere. But most recently, after the end of the 2024 season, realizing nothing was going to come after that, a pretty pitiful season, and knowing that we have one of the best pitchers of my generation now on the team, knowing that we're not going to actively support him the best we can, that kind of is what pushed me and my brother to the edge.
What is it like for you, Gabe, to hear that? People like Canyon and his twin brother Carter, they are the future of fandom for the Pirates. To just feel so downtrodden about even trying to be a fan right now.
There are multiple generations that have just a really negative, terrible experience with baseball, with the Pirates. And while they may be rabid sports fans, it's just kind of written off. So that's why I'm here. That's why I believe we're all here. Say enough. Enough of this fucking bullshit. And again, if you're not a fan listening right now, you paid for that stadium. You are the reason Bob Nutting's net worth is over $1 billion. And yet he's silent. Bob, help us fix the game. Be a steward. I think you could win back fans if you were part of that fix.
Is that on the table for you? Gabe, as we're talking, you're wearing a T-shirt that says "Sell the Team, Bob" in black and gold. I mean, would you be happy with a Bob Nutting if if his personality suddenly completely changed and he showed up for the team.
I will absolutely keep an open mind about that. If he's part of the coalition that delivers parity, fairness in the national pastime, that yes, there's a chance. Even though we're
There's always a
watching him
chance.
flush, you have a generational talent on the field. We're flushing healthy years of generational talent down the fucking drain. I can't forgive that, but on the other hand, show us something, Bob.
To Gabe's point, we don't expect him to be running around and talking to the fans every day, Bob Nutting, but he is completely silent. He does not give interviews other than on the Pirates broadcast and things like that. He won't be questioned. He doesn't open himself up for inquiry. And this isn't a private business. This is it's part of the civic infrastructure of Pittsburgh and part of the history going back to almost the Civil War. They owe it to us. If they're going to be cheap and they're not going to be good stewards, they owe it to us to answer questions, to be available, and that just exacerbates the mistrust.
Today's show is brought to you by Overlook Maps. If you need an easier way to remember that amazing little cafe you found last summer or a perfect hiking spot that your friend told you about, I have good news for you. With Overlook Maps, special places never get lost again. You can create personal lists of places you've been or want to go, build your must-visit list for your next vacation, your favorite restaurants for nights out, or your getaway ideas when you need to escape. I have personally been DIYing this exact thing since I was in college using Google Maps, and y'all, that is not what Google is best at. My lists are kind of a mess, completely dependent on the notes I did or did not remember to write down at the time, and until now, it was my only way to record all the cool things I had done or wanted to do. I am so excited because Overlook Maps has solved for something I have wanted in my life for years. It's a way to remember, to categorize, to find the best spots for me and my crew because they have so many curated layers that you can check out, from Michelin guides to the New York Times and eater recommendations. You can even make your own private lists, keep your own secrets, or share with friends and collaborate about the places that you are most excited to check out as a group. You can even put in food preferences, and Overlook Maps will make the recommendations. And they have a routing feature that will tell you where you can eat in the direction that you are already headed. I have been begging the universe for this thing for so long, and Overlook Maps has delivered. Icing on the cake, there are no ads. No one's selling your data to advertisers, just amazing spaces and places organized exactly how you want them. Overlook Maps. Collect, organize, and share the places that matter to you. Download it for free at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Pittsburgh to see some of our favorite spots on a map and in your pocket. Your places, your way.
Got any fun trips coming up? One thing you probably haven't put on your packing list is learning the language. But with Babbel, you can start talking in just a few weeks. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I've been learning Spanish with Babbel. And I also just persuaded my friend who's going to France this fall to learn French with Babbel, but that is another story. Babbel's extremely fun and intuitive. It's like having a private tutor in your pocket. Handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel's lessons are voiced by real native speakers and built with science-backed cognitive tools and interactive features to fit any learning style. I love a lot of the different Babbel features. The Babbel games for sentence building, Babbel speech recognition, which helps me get the pronunciation right. And now I'm really into Babbel's word of the day, which greets me on the homepage of the app. Every day, a new word revealed like a little surprise with a sentence to help contextualize it. It's like a daily treat for me. Studies from Yale, Michigan State, and other leading universities continue to prove that Babbel works. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. Look, I want you to learn another language. So I'm teaming up with Babbel to gift you 55% off subscriptions, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Babbel.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
I feel like most of us, like we complain, we might stop watching, we may even just like not bother to go to a game now and again. But Gabe, you and your co-conspirators here have decided to do something about it. What is this movement? How do you define it for folks? And why was it important to you to get this out in public?
There was some moment that I snapped last year. It has to do with Paul Skeens, has to do with Andrew McCutcheon, who's at the end of his career, and we're just going to
But loves
flush
the city so much he named his child Steel.
every chance given. He did right by the city. So we're going to flush his final years down the drain.
Were you at a game? Were you at home? Is this something that just hit you all of a sudden?
There was a game, yeah. It was in July. Jared Jones was pitching. He had a solid start, and he was followed up with just arms that probably didn't belong in the majors. And I snapped, and I know kind of, anyways, I started screaming, "Sell the team, Bob." And like immediately.
Like at a game or to your television? Yes. You were in the stands screaming it.
I raged. My rage is self-contained to yelling towards the owner's box. "Sell the team, Bob." And I think you're going to see a lot of that this year at PNC Park. And I think we're just beginning to send the message to Bob.
Well, yeah, you've done a lot of things since, I guess, that moment. You've put up billboards. You've given out a lot of T-shirts. Really infamously, somebody wore one to a playoff game that the Pirates weren't even in and sat right behind home plate so that they would be on television the entire game.
That was me.
Was that you? I wasn't sure. I went back and tried to find photos, but I wasn't certain from the angle. How much did you spend on that ticket?
The most I've ever spent on, I think, a sporting event. It was, I think it was 600, just over. But
you're really putting your money where your mouth is on this stuff. What has it been like to try to build coalition around this? Are people behind you? You and Marc are doing the work, and Canyon and his twin brother Carter are behind you. Like, what else is happening behind the scenes?
There's dozens helping to organize. There's literally hundreds. Anytime we do something that creates a wave of press, we just start getting the emails through the website, ourteamnothis.com, of people who want to find a way to participate, whether it be raising money. I don't even know how many hundreds of individual donors we had. I know we've raised over 30K that's helped put those billboards up, and some other fun things we have planned through this season.
And you've been appealing recently to the only municipal organization that I would say that arguably has the ability to affect change here, which is the Sports and Exhibition Authority. What did you ask them at their meeting in February?
We tried to make the case to them that it's their job to be the governors of the owners of these teams. They're releasing funds for stadium repairs and upgrades, and they're controlling leases, and it's their job to be discerning, and when an ownership group is not living up to the standards expected, to apply whatever tools and carrots and sticks are available.
Did it feel like they were listening?
Our sense is they understand, they get it, but they're part of a political environment that can be go along, get along.
They're led by a state senator, Wayne Fontana.
Yeah, and they're probably not there yet as far as where we want them to be. It's going to take more effort.
They're not screaming at the television or in person, "Sell the team, Bob," not just yet.
They may be screaming at the television, but publicly they're going to be low key, at least at this point.
But they are the ones that would ultimately rubber stamp a lease agreement or any kind of upgrades, really expensive upgrades to the arena in coming years. What kind of fight do you imagine this is going to be for a group like yours to try to rally support to get the SEA to listen to you?
We're going to keep showing up at those. They have regular conferences at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. I think the more protests there are, chants, T-shirts, There might be events where, the president of the Pirates is at some charity thing or speaking somewhere, and we come and be disruptive. I think the more we get in the news, I think the more we get high-profile advocates, maybe like a Pat McAfee. I think if we could get somebody like a Senator John Fetterman involved, John's from Pittsburgh, it's something that he should care about.
He was supposed to be here last weekend, but he ended up not coming.
Yep. Yeah, there has to be a cascading awareness around town, a growing disruption, a growing sense of unease, where the oxygen is sucked out of the ownership. Everywhere they go, every time they make a public appearance, they're challenged, and we're not there yet. We're trying to build momentum, but this can happen. We've seen coaches and general managers run out of towns because of fan unrest. We're seeing the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, currently trying to push the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays out of his ownership. So it is possible.
So what is the best case scenario from y'all's perspective for the team? Say Bob Nutting listens and sells. What happens then? Who would you love to see buy the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Well, there's several people that could be interesting. If you look at David Tepper, who went to school at CMU and at one point was
school.
Yeah, was one of the most successful hedge fund managers in the country, and he owns the Carolina Panthers. Ron Burkle, who used to own the Pittsburgh Penguins, would be a terrific owner. Thomas Tull, who used to be part of the Steelers minority ownership. If you look at Hollywood, a consortium of movie stars and comedians, whether it's Billy Gardell or Dennis Miller or Joe Manganiello.
Get Michael Keaton money over
Michael
here.
Michael Keaton, yes, love it. Batman, let's get Batman involved. And I think there's a lot of people that would enjoy having a team and having it be a joyous occasion, a chance to win, a chance for exposure, a chance to have some fun. That's what sports ownership is. It's not about being a bean counter.
I'd want someone like David Rubenstein in Baltimore, who he gave a really quick interview on NPR over the winter, and he talked a lot about stewardship. He's a very wealthy man. He's from Baltimore. He loved the Orioles. And this investment, and he talks about this, was not about some huge return. He knew he could realize a better return putting those dollars elsewhere. It was about stewardship, giving back.
Yeah, let's play a clip, actually.
There's psychic benefits. You enjoy being a fan. There's psychic benefits to having other people tell you you're helping your local town. And there's the pleasure of seeing good athletes perform well. So that's a trade-off. I'm not disappointed at all that I put in the amount of money that we put in to do this. I don't expect to make a spectacular rate of return, but I would hope not to lose money from it.
That's what we need here. And guess what? He's also on the record fighting for parity in the game, a competitive league. He checks every box. So I'm going to reverse time, make him be born here, and he'll have just bought the Pirates and solved all of our problems.
Yeah, just some casual time travel.
It's very important to just note here, I have no ill will towards Bob Nutting.
Yeah.
Cash out, baby. Enjoy your multi-generational wealth. And now do right by us.
Yeah. Marc, any final thoughts on that?
It's too long. It's time for a change.
Marc, Gabe, wherever you are, I hope you both have a really wonderful home opener weekend.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks for having us. This was awesome.
That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you want to tap in with Marc, Gabe, and all the other Pirates fans who want a new owner, head over to ourteamnothis.com. And if you want to check in on the Sports and Exhibition Authority, that website is pgh-sea.com. It looks absolutely ancient. There are so many blurry pictures. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then.
Feeling good? You excited? It's baseball season.
Didn't start great.